Och eftersom Metallica då var här i Sverige nu i veckan och spelade så åkte jag dit och sträckte fram mikrofonen till trummisen Lars Ulrich och frågade om han då på något sätt kunde sammanfatta textinnebörden på de här 9 låtarna på nya LP:n And Justice for All.
We are just writing about some of the different subjects that we've been interested in the last couple of years. I think it's a reflection of how we see certain things around us, you know, some of what goes on with people and, you know, justice and truth and sort of, you know, people have different opinions and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're right or this person is right. It just means you have different thoughts and opinions and so forth. And a couple of things about, you know, justice and truth and stuff like that. But I really prefer to keep it as indirect as possible because I think what makes it strong is that people can sort of make their own images out of the lyrics. And I think that for me to sit and sort of very much tell what each song and this is how you should understand this, because I think the way the lyrics are written is that people can really interpret them in their own way. And I think that's what makes it, you know, strong. It's not very direct written, if you know what I mean.
It wasn't meant to be a concept album this time.
No, I don't think it, I mean, it wasn't meant to, and I don't think it is. I think as with our previous albums, it has some sort of general theme to it, where you know, on Ride the Lightning, there was a general theme about a lot of different stages and thoughts about death and so forth. On Puppets, it dealt a lot with manipulation, thought control, you know, and things like that. And this album, the theme seems to be, you know, honesty, justice, truth, you know, stuff like that. But I really don't want to say that it's a concept album because I really dislike that, and I really don't think that we will ever do a concept album where you kind of start, you know, the first song and then it's one continuous song to the end. I think that we have a lot of different songs, a lot of different moods, feels, and some of the songs' lyrics, the ideas and subjects border on some of the same things, you know, with truth and honesty and justice and so forth, but I don't think it's a concept album. No.
Nej, det här var aldrig menat att bli ett temaalbum med låtar som rent innehållsmässigt hänger ihop i en enda lång story. Nej, det här är då istället 9 låtar som på ett eller annat sätt liksom rör vid samma tema, nämligen rättvisa, lag och ärlighet bland alla människor här i samhället. Och inte minst speglas just det här då i titelspåret And Justice for All.
This right here is the title track of the new album, which is obviously called And Justice for All. It's a look at a judicial system. It could be the American one, about how it's not always about finding, you know, truth or, you know, the truth or whatever. It's a lot of times about, it's like a competition between 2 lawyers or whatever, you know, who can win. It's like more of a sort of match or like a game or something between people instead of actually finding the truth or innocence of, you know, some person.
Den 10 minuter långa titelspåret från Metallicas nya album, som jag sagt tidigare, heter alltså And Justice for All, som innehåller en hel del funderingar kring ämnet rättvisa, lag och ärlighet bland människor. Och på tidigare plattor så har då Metallica skrivit en del låtar på temat döden och manipulation och kontroll av människor. Är det här egna, på något sätt, egna värderingar och egna åsikter som de vädrar i sina låttexter?
Well, we have our own standpoints and thoughts and so forth. I don't think that we necessarily try and project them very much in our music, in our lyrics or our music. I don't think we use Metallica as a way to preach our own ideas or anything like that. I think that what we do much more so than anything is just write about some of these things the way we see them. That doesn't mean that we... you know, a lot of people say, well, don't you think it's, you know, the lyrics are very negative or blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I think that what we do is, instead of writing negative about some of these subjects, we write just sort of, we take all the bullshit out and just write about the way that we see it. It's like an honest reflection. And I think that we're careful because we don't want to be seen as a political band or anything like that. We, you know, I mean, I don't want to be involved in any of that kind of stuff. We write about things that interest us. We have our own ideas and standpoints, but I don't think that we walk around and force them down other people's throats and stuff like that.
Back to your music, how would you like to describe the musical development of your songs since Kill 'Em All until today?
I think Kill 'Em All was very one-sided, if you know what I mean. I think on Ride the Lightning there was a fair gap there where we really opened up and where we really sort of understood that there was a lot of different ways of getting some power together. It didn't have to just be fast songs and so forth. I think we really opened up. You know, we cover a lot of ground musically and so forth. I think that we really keep sort of experimenting, keep developing, and keep covering more ground from, you know, one extreme to the other. And I think that musical flexibility is what Metallica is really all about.
Ja, texterna består alltså inte enbart av egna åsikter utan mer små reflektioner över händelser som de själva försöker vinkla och se på utifrån eller objektivt. Och den här typen av texter det har de egentligen haft hela tiden. Vad de däremot har utvecklat är att de då från deras allra första LP Kill 'Em All till nya och fjärde albumet har gått från en mer rak och snabb speed metal till de nya mer variationsrika låtarna. Och en för Metallica ovanligt lugn låt, det är One, som förresten har blivit en av mina egna favoriter på nya LPn. Låten heter alltså One och textmässigt innehåller den en helt ruskig historia.
This is a track called One, which is a bit different from stuff we've done before. It deals with a kind of situation of if you were in a sort of basically like a living brain, like a living consciousness, you know, like a guy who comes back from the war after stepping on a landmine with, he has no arms or legs and has lost all ways to communicating to the outside world. He can't see, he can't hear, he can't speak. So he's basically like just a living brain. What kind of thoughts would you have and how would you know if you were sleeping, if you were awake, you know, what kind of dreams and so forth. So that's basically a look at that.
Ja, det är alltså en ren horribel mardrömshistoria som handlar om en kille som i krig råkar trampa på en landmina så svårt att han blir av med både armar och ben och dessutom människans 3 viktigaste sinnen, nämligen synen, hörseln och talförmågan. Så det är inte så mycket mer kvar då än en levande hjärna i en sjuksäng. Vad tänker man på när man ligger där? Vad drömmer man om? Ja, alltså den typen av funderingar här i låten One.
I can't remember it.